In this video, you'll learn how to integrate the Grok API into this Flutter app. First, let's search for Grok API on Google. The first result is from XAI with the title API, Frontier Models for Reasoning and Enterprise. Let's click on it. On this page, click on Documentation. This takes us directly to the API documentation, where we can see a curl API request. If you've worked with OpenAI's API before, this will look very familiar. We need to send two headers with our request. The first is the content dash type, and the second is the authorization header, where we'll pass our API key using the bearer format. Then, in the request body, we need to send two main values: the model we want to use and the input we want to send to Grok. Now let's create our API key. For that, click on the API console button at the top right corner. From here, we can create our API key and then use it in our Flutter application. Before that, let's take a quick look around. Here you can see the credits, tokens, and requests I've used so far. To add more credits, simply click the Add button. In this dialog, you can choose from these three preset amounts, or enter your own custom amount. You can also see the message at the bottom, showing an estimated number of messages, images, videos, or voice generations you can get based on the amount you add. Grok is basically giving you an estimate of how much you can use with those credits. Keep in mind, these are only estimates and aren't guaranteed. You can enter a custom amount like this and then click Guest Checkout. In this dialog, enter your payment details and click the Pay button to complete the purchase. I'm going back because I already have enough credits for now. Now let's create an API key. Click the button, give it the name multi-chat, and then click the Create API Key button. The API key is now generated. Make sure to copy it before proceeding, because it will not be displayed again. You can copy the API key using the Copy button or the Copy icon. Then, click the Close icon or the Get Started button to close the dialog. Now, let's go to our .env file and create a new key variable at the bottom. We can name it grok _API_KEY and paste our API key here. Oh, first, we need to test it in Postman. Let's go to Postman and create a new request in a new tab. We'll use Grok's responses API URL here. For the request headers, we need to pass our API key using the bearer format in the authorization header. So, paste your API key after bearer. We also need to add the content type header. In the request body, just like with the OpenAI API, we need to pass the model and input. For the model, we'll use Grok 4.5, and for the input, let's simply ask, "What is Flutter?" Make sure the request method is post, and then click the Send button. Now, let's look at the response structure. Here, we can see an output field, which is a JSON array. We don't need the first object, we need the second object, so we'll access it using index 1. Inside that object, we can see a content field, which is also an array. Inside this array, we can find the text field, which contains the actual response to our prompt. Let's go back to our code. First, let's add a static, constant variable named _Grok URL and paste the Grok responses API URL here. Now let's copy the generate GPT content method and use it as the base for our Grok method. We need to change the API key variable from GPT _API _key to grok _API _key. And we'll also rename the local API key variable accordingly. Next, change the URL inside the uri.parse method to _Grok URL. For the authorization header, we'll pass our Grok API key after bearer. Now it's time to update the request body. We'll change only the model to Grok-4.5 while keeping the input the same and passing our prompt. Paste the model here. Let's check the response we received earlier in Postman. Here, we have an output field, which is a JSON array containing two objects. Inside the second object, we have another content array, and inside that, we can find the text field containing our response. So in our code, we just need to change the index after output from 0 to 1. The next index for the content array stays 0, and the text field also stays the same. That's it. We don't need to make any other changes, and we've successfully integrated Grok and received our response. Let's go to the main .dart file. Inside the _ask method, change the corresponding Grok provider method to generate Grok content. Now, let's run the app. Select Grok from the bottom sheet and ask the same prompt. Which model do you use? Tell me about it in 300 words. And here we have the response. Grok 4, built by XAI. So, all 4 models are now integrated. You can now use any prompt with these 4 models and see how each one responds. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.